I'm hoping very soon that I can meet with the city of Fort Lauderdale, again, to understand what happened, understand the instructions that were given.
And before this new policy change in Fort Lauderdale, a South Florida woman was hit by a rubber bullet during a protest. It fractured her eye socket. She could file a lawsuit against the police department, but first, she wants to meet with them to know how something like this could be prevented in the future. NBC6's Phil Prazan spoke to her earlier today, joins us live now from Fort Lauderdale with her story. Phil?
Well, LaToya Ratliff still doesn't remember very much about what happened right here in downtown Fort Lauderdale. She doesn't remember, and she doesn't know which officer shot her and hit her with that foam baton. That's the official name of what's commonly known as a rubber bullet, and she doesn't know why it happened. You can see quite a bit of space between protesters and Fort Lauderdale police, then a crack and a scream. People ran to her as she bled, put her in a car, and drove her to the hospital. More than a week later, she doesn't know how long the road to recovery will be.
We're going to just do whatever it takes for me to get back as healthy as possible. And right now, I'm just taking it day by day, appointment by appointment. And I don't want to worry about the cost because recovery is the most important thing.
She took to the streets to protest against the killing of George Floyd in Minnesota and to call for police reforms here in South Florida. A rubber bullet is classified as less lethal, but policy states officers should not aim for the head or neck. Police started an internal affairs investigation but have not released the name of the officer. A spokeswoman for Fort Lauderdale Police tells NBC6 the two legal teams are talking about the next steps. Ratliff tells me she wants to work with the city and police leaders to implement change.
If there are protests, that this will be a safe environment for the protesters and not something where people are going to have to be concerned that they're going to come out and potentially be in danger.
Mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trentalis, called what happened to her reprehensible, saying people should not fear police. He said on the radio Thursday he would not go as far as defunding the department, but supports talking about change in policy and practice. There's a commission meeting on the topic next week. Now, Ratliff plans to stay involved with the quest for racial justice. Her aunt was famed women's rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer. There is a GoFundMe page out there, but her legal team tells me that it is a fraud. It is not them. They are not asking for money. Reporting live in Fort Lauderdale, Phil Prazan, NBC6 News.